48 seconds before I pulled the trigger, I whispered my daughter's name. Amira. That was the only word I could say. The rest were buried beneath 10 years of silence and 100 mistakes I could never undo. The cheap motel room smelled of mold, cigarettes, and something else, maybe desperation. The kind that sticks to your skin no matter how many times you shower. I sat on the edge of the bed, the gun heavy in my hand. It wasn't the weight of metal. It was the weight of everything else: regret, shame, grief. My phone buzzed. I didn't look at it. Probably just another message from the automated pharmacy reminder: don't forget to refill your prescription. They didn't know I hadn't taken my meds in weeks. What would be the point? Pills don't fix the things I've broken. Not this late in the game. The TV was on mute. A cartoon played, two animals chasing each other in a loop. They never catch each other. Just run and run, forever. Kind of like me. There was a time I had a life. A real one. House, family, job, future. But life has a funny way of unraveling when you stop paying attention. All it took was one bad night. One decision. One bottle too many. One scream. One crash. One funeral. I haven't spoken to Amira since that day. She was 7 when her mother died. My wife, Leila, God, even thinking her name feels like sin. I was the one driving. I was the one who insisted we could make it home without calling a cab. I was the one who argued and shouted and didn't see the red light. Amira's last memory of me is probably the police pulling me away from the wreckage while her mother lay bleeding across the windshield. I remember her little face, covered in glass dust and tears, just staring at me through the window as they cuffed me. Now she's 17. I've watched her grow up from behind caught other distance. Social media helps you spy on the lives you're no longer allowed to be part of. Her birthday post. Her graduation photo. Her first solo dance recital. Always with Leila's sister. Never with me. I had a chance, once, to fix things. Or at least try. I got sober. Did time. Took therapy seriously. Wrote letters. Hundreds of them. Never sent. They're in a shoebox at my feet now, under the bed. Along with a folded up piece of paper labeled will. It isn't much. A few $100 in my account. My old guitar. The apartment keys. And the letters. But I've only written one wish. Let Amira read the letters, if she wants. That's all I ask. That's my last wish. Nothing dramatic. Nothing grand. Just a chance to be remembered as more than the man who ruined everything. The clock on the nightstand blinked 2:17 a.m. I stared at the gun again. A U. Smith & Wesson. Bought it 2 weeks ago off a guy who didn't ask questions. Cash only. No ID. I placed the barrel under my chin. And that's when I heard it. A knock. 3 soft knocks on the door. Not loud. Not aggressive. Just gentle. I froze. Nobody knew I was here. Nobody should. Another knock. I stood slowly, gun in hand, heart jackhammering in my chest. I walked to the door, peeked through the peephole. And then I dropped the gun. Because standing there, soaked in rain, hoodie clinging to her thin frame, was the one person I never expected to see again. Amira. She didn't say anything at first. Just stood there, shivering in the doorway. Her eyes, Those same brown eyes that used to light up when I walked into a room were unreadable now. Not soft. Not angry. Just tired. I opened the door wider and stepped back. "Come in," I said. My voice cracked. "Please." She hesitated, then walked past me into the room, dripping rainwater onto the thin carpet. The door clicked shut behind her, and for a moment, we just stood there in the quiet, breathing the same stale air. "Hi," I finally said. She looked around the room, not at me. Her eyes landed on the gun, still on the floor near the bed. She said nothing, but the way her jaw tightened told me she'd seen it. "Did I interrupt something?" she asked. Her voice was low. Controlled. Not the small, chirpy voice I remembered from bedtime stories and Saturday pancakes. This one had years in it. Walls. I didn't answer right away. Just bent down, picked up the gun, and slid it back into the drawer. Closed it. Locked it. I wasn't going to do anything, I lied. She let out a soft, bitter laugh. "You always were a terrible liar." That stung. I nodded slowly, sat on the edge of the bed, and motioned toward the only chair in the room. She didn't